Hello, welcome to Heroes for Sale, Between the Panel Talk, where we're going to be going through a few things in comics that have happened in the recent week. I've got with me here today Ben Osu, I've got Dave Johnson and Lucy Myatt. And what are we going to be talking about this week, fellas? Have you and ladies? Sorry.
I think we should talk about diversity.
We should talk about diversity in comics, isn't it? Because we are opening up the universe of various different things, including my embarrassment levels. Avengers Age of Ultron, that's going to be hitting cinemas this week though. I mean, what do you think? Seen the trailer now, looks pretty special.
I'm excited for it.
I still need to book my my ticket to go and see it on the night, so I'm hoping that I can get one, otherwise it's going to be quite, so I can't get one.
This weekend will be tight.
My mate said to me before, you need to book your ticket, and I was kind of thinking, it's going to be sold out, and why didn't you book it for me when you booked yours, and then I'll give you the money, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
So you're not his friend now?
No, we fell out literally 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. What are you excited about in the new film?
Ultron's one of my favourite Marvel villains. I'm interested how they portray him in film. From the trailers it looks like he's ridiculously overpowered, which is good. That's what he should be.
Yeah. Robots make good villains, I imagine, because they're very cold.
Yeah.
Are we going to bring anything new into the film, you think, from the comics?
Ultron's whole origin looks to be completely different. I think we talked about it in the Ant-Man panel. Hank Pym actually created Ultron in the comics, but it looks as though it's going to be kind of the workings of Tony Stark.
Right.
It starts the first artificial intelligence. He wanted it to kind of be there when they couldn't, and then it's took its own agenda.
Yeah, and it's always got a great pace, a great bit of humour, isn't it, in the Avengers films? It's one of my favourite things.
I don't read comics. I don't know if that's kind of like a good thing or a bad thing. But every time I watch, she's dying. Every time I watch a film, it's good to see that, it's because for me I'm just thinking, oh, it's just Hulk, Thor, and all the rest of them. But then you see there's like another dimension, another kind of character being added, and that's where for me I kind of say to my mates, okay, so who is that? What is it? And where's this? And then I get the whole backstory, which I kind of like, because I'm not really a comic person.
Yeah, so you get carried into the universe whether you like it or not, which is interesting, isn't it? The other thing we were going to talk about today was all new Captain America, because that's up to issue 5 now.
5, I think.
When's the next one out?
Any time.
Yeah.
It's not this week. It's not tomorrow, but
right. Okay.
It's possibly the week after.
Yeah. But it's been really good run on it, hasn't it? Because obviously, can you give us a bit of the backstory about how it came about, please, Dave?
In the previous run of Captain America, Steve Rogers was fighting a villain called the Iron Nail. He kind of stabbed him with a thing and drew his super soldier serum out, which aged him to what he should have been. So he's a frail old man now. He can no longer continue being Captain America. So obviously Sam Wilson, the Falcon, has always been there, been around when Captain America's been there. Even when Bucky was Captain America for a bit, Falcon's always been around. So he was kind of the next natural person to step up and become Cap.
Yeah.
So he'd done that at the end of that run and then started his own all-new Captain America book. It's kind of part of a big launch. They relaunched that, they relaunched Thor, and they relaunched Iron Man, a superior Iron Man. So
there was a lot of talking points around that at the time, weren't there? People saying it was brave, and obviously it made Captain America black, which is, it was a big step really for a lot of people. And I think that's been, for a lot of fans, it's been working well though, because
I don't think it's
Falcon.
brave. I think it's lazy.
Yeah.
Because I think Falcon could have been a great forefront superhero anyway on his own. I get annoyed that they just go, oh, we'll just get this already well-known superhero and replace him with another superhero. Why couldn't they just get a whole new character to be Captain America and push Falcon to the front anyway?
No one would care.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
The run was called Captain America and Falcon for a long time, wasn't it? The book in the 70s and 80s, so that's probably part of the reason, isn't it?
It's about time that he stepped up to it.
I don't have a problem with him stepping up, but you can say they wouldn't care, but they're introducing new characters all the time that people learn to care about.
With Captain America, it doesn't sell that much. Even despite him being one of the biggest names in Marvel, the comic itself doesn't sell that much. Same as Thor, same as Iron Man. The numbers aren't that high.
Yeah, people think they've become a bit dated. But it is interesting how they've done this, and obviously to turn Captain America into, taking it a completely different direction. I do think it is a little bit brave. I think might have put off a lot of classical readers. If you're saying it's not selling well, presumably, I mean, you go into a few comic shops and you still do see like the grey-haired gentleman kind of go, "Look at my favourite comic." Maybe I thought it might put them off.
It sold better than when it was Steve,
right?
Because people want to go, "Oh, what's this about now? Why is he Captain America?" It's got that initial draw into the book. Marvel last year, maybe even the end of the previous year, introduced a new character under Captain Marvel's old name, a Muslim girl. She got inhuman powers and became Ms. Marvel. She was a massive fan of Captain Marvel, so wanted to be a superhero. When they first announced it was going to be a Muslim girl, I kind of thought, oh no, what are they going to do here?
They're trying to tick a few boxes kind of thing.
Yeah, it was in the papers before anything had been sort of shown what it was going to be about, and I was a little bit worried that it was going to be distasteful. But reading the first issue, it was really, really good. It was refreshing. It's kind of using that Peter Parker model where she's a teenager dealing with superpowers, dealing with a life as part of a Muslim family with kind of controlling parents. It was really, really different. It's sold really well.
Well, check it out. I think I remember you mentioning that in your solo spots, wasn't it?
Yeah, she's gonna be on
Fortune Days with him.
But I think the fact that you had those feelings about how it was going to be portrayed kind of shows where people are as in like socially and as a society and psychologically, because how many other people would have thought, oh, actually, what are we going to do? And the fact is, she's just a normal, well, it's not a normal girl,
she's just a person.
She's just a person. It just happens to be that the fact that she is a Muslim superhero is kind of, and she is Muslim, is being hyped up, or maybe not hyped up to the so that people kind of think, ooh, and it's. I think that shows where society is in general about. Yeah.
Too much negativity in the media around that kind of thing. So that's where the worry came from straight away. So I hope they're not going that way with it. Like, she's just a girl. I just want
exactly
that. The run of Thor before it ended was good. Jason Aaron's a really good writer. He's the one who's writing Star Wars at the minute, which is obviously one of Marvel's biggest. Writing a story basically about future Thor, present Thor, and his past. And it kind of developed his character in a way. He eventually became unworthy, no longer able to pick the hammer up. It was something that old Nick Fury said to him, which we still don't know what it was. And all we see at the end was somebody picked the hammer up, even though nobody, including Odin, could pick the hammer up. And we still haven't found out who that is yet. I think the next issue we're due to find out. And I think it strongly suggests that it's Thor's S.H.I.E.L.D. agent girlfriend.
Yeah. I know I read somewhere that it might be to appeal to female readers. And I mentioned to you that I think there's a statistic that says that 2 out of every 3 teenagers who are buying comics are actually girls. And you said you hadn't noticed that in Liverpool, but I mean, in Liverpool, in Wales apart, so I don't know whether you've noticed it in your shop, Lucy.
I noticed that a hell of a lot of younger girls buy comics, and I don't know if that's just a fashionable thing because of like the Big Bang Theory and whatnot. They're not necessarily into comics, or they genuinely are getting into comics, but I do notice younger girls buy comics. Maybe not the older woman, but definitely younger girls buy a lot more comics.
Yeah. But there are a lot more than there used to be.
But isn't that Marvel kind of reacting to that and realising there's a lot of young girls buying comics and they should be kind of...
Marvel have probably got one of the best marketing strategists working for them. Yeah. A lot of stuff they do, they just continue to grow and they can't do any wrong, really.
Yeah. Hotline to Bill Gates. Speaking about doing it right, let's talk about who's doing it wrong, because DC, I know you stopped reading DC. I mean, I've never been a big fan because I always think that they just take themselves far too seriously. Talking about being able to change a character, I don't think they'd really... I know they do, but they pick up a big...
The editorial is probably the worst in the universe. When the new 52 started, I read every single comic, all 52, and there was quite strong start. I mean, even initially...
Those origin stories were cool, the holographic covers, they were cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of controversy in the beginning though, because they over-sexualised Catwoman. Like the first issue, she had sex with Batman on the roof, and like it was just so dumb. It's completely the opposite to the way Marvel were. They were just stuck in kind of a 90s, we're appealing to sweaty teenage boys, and that's it.
Yeah.
And some of the stories were good. Animal Man, Swamp Thing, they stayed good until the end, but they've been cancelled due to low sales. Yeah. It seems that they've gone through and steadily cancelled off all the good books, and all we're left with is trash. Like
Which is even a bit crazy, isn't it?
Even Batman, they're just doing ridiculous things with it.
I've heard people saying they're still just buying Batman out of, like, you know, a sense of duty.
What they've done with Harley Quinn just makes my heart hurt. It just breaks my heart. I hate it. I hate what they've done with it.
Yeah.
What have they done with it, Lucy?
Well, they've changed the look. They've completely changed from the classic red and black Harley to a blue and red.
It's kind of took from the Arkham games.
Yeah, and
they
then
got influence from
they've
that.
made it like in the first issue. It's the first issue or the zero issue. She looks like she's a roller derby girl. I don't know if they've carried on with it because I stopped reading very quickly. But now I've heard that her and Poison Ivy are girlfriend and girlfriend now. I don't know how. Someone told me they're living together. But I've seen, like, one of my friends buys it and he loves it, and I wonder why. And he showed me pictures and they're like in bed together in their underwear and stuff. And it just, like you said, only seems to be appealing to a certain demographic.
Yeah,
I think that is the sections. If they're too serious, it doesn't come off very well. It's like you can see that happen in Marvel. You see Deadpool's had his end away every now and again, but it's done in a quite funny way.
I have no problem with the sexualization of a character, but when it's so blatantly obvious why they're doing it, then there's actually no depth to the plot.
I mean, again, I've never read a DC comic, but it's never really appealed to me as, you know, any of the cartoons and stuff that they've made, or okay, the Dark Knight films I really like, but I think it was more of the kind of the action stuff more rather than the stories and all that kind of stuff.
Whereas the Justice League cartoon, which I watched a little bit because people were raving about it, and it was quite amusing. But
that was based on the origin story for New 52, which was good. That was like Jeff Johns was the only one doing any good writing for DC, and then he must have just got other work doing other things or too many jobs, because even his work started to go downhill. I'm not making excuses for them.
No, we're not making excuses for DC. If anyone's still buying the comics, please email us in and let us know what we should be talking about, and we'll try and pick up a few too. Okay, thanks everybody for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we'll be back soon.
Thanks for watching Heroes for Sale. Did you agree with us? Let us know. Comment below. Also, if you haven't done it already, please subscribe, as we'll be uploading much more geeky awesomeness to come.